away from the nearest Target. Is that how people measure, how far out in the country you are? We will cross that bridge when we get there. Why did the designer do that? Well, hey everyone, it's Natalie. So glad you stopped by my channel for today's video. We're gonna get all cozy and have a little chat. I asked for questions a few weeks ago over on my community tab here on YouTube, as well as my Instagram. I had a little question box for you guys. We've been here for a month now, and so I thought, now I have some good answers for you. So this might be a two-part video because there's a lot of questions, and if you know me, you know I'm chatty. I call my Q&A videos Chatty Natty. And I'm so excited and grateful about this new house that I have a lot to say. Before I dive into your specific questions, for those of you who are new here, I just wanted to give a quick synopsis of what the last few months have looked like for us, because I feel like it's the basis for my answers for the questions that I'm gonna be getting. So back in August of this year, we had been looking for what we would consider our forever home. We really wanted to put roots down. We had been looking at some acreage, with a home on it. We had sort of a list of needs and wants. And after getting kind of burnt out and getting beat out of a few different offers that we had made, we ended up coming upon a situation where some retired friends of ours were looking to downsize and were starting to get their house ready to put up on the market. It's this home on 5 acres in literally the exact pinpoint location that we had been hoping for and dreaming about. And the story, how it all came together, it's so amazing. God just made it happen. And I actually shared the details of this story and everything in a video that went up before this one. So I will have that linked in the description box if you guys want to hear the details and the full story. But it was just an incredible story from start to finish. And it was a really quick process. It normally doesn't go that quickly, but it was just the situation that we were in and the market that we were in. So we ended up listing our little starter home in the neighborhood and selling that. It went really, really quickly. We're so grateful, and we were able to move into this house. So from start to finish, it was about 7 weeks, not even fully 7 weeks from finding this house to moving in. And we sold a house in the process. It was a crazy whirlwind. And over the last month, since we've been here a month, we have done several renovations already. We just kind of got started. Crazy. Our dreams are literally coming true being in this place, down to just the tiny details of the stuff that have come together, or the little features of this home and this property. And so I have shared what I can share up until this point, but I have gotten so many questions from you guys, wanting more details, and I'm happy to share that. So this first question is one that was over on my community tab. I thought it was a really good question, and it's one that I've gotten pretty often, so I thought I would just address it now. Julie Summerfield says, I'm curious why you aren't embracing the homestead aspects of acreage, like the chicken coop and garden. I quickly replied actually with, we are embracing it, and I'll share more when I answer your question in the Q&A. So I really wanted to give some time to this question because I've gotten several ones like it. So when we first announced that we were moving, I uploaded a house and property tour video, and in that video I didn't have enough time to explain our intentions behind the whole chicken coop situation. So I showed that we had this red 10 by 16 shed that was put on this property that the previous owners actually used as a chicken coop. They ended up actually getting rid of their chickens because they moved out before we were ready to move in. As they were downsizing, they actually moved out of town. And so it just didn't make sense for them to keep the chickens here for us. So here's the answer to that. Someday soon, we would love to have chickens. It is absolutely in the plan when it comes to our property and our dreams for this homestead. My mom and dad have chickens, and they've done it for years, and she is such a fount of knowledge when it comes to that, and such a big resource for us when we are ready to take the leap and do chickens. I personally don't have experience with chickens because my mom actually started the whole chicken journey on her homestead long after Weston and I had gotten married and I moved out. Speaking of homestead, Weston is outside right now blowing leaves off of the roofs of our outbuildings, so you might hear a little whining leaf blower sound in the background, but I'm gonna keep filming. Hopefully you don't mind. So the whole question of, well, why would you get rid of the chicken coop? The chicken coop, the shed that was there, while it was really, really nice, it was not where we would want to have chickens on this property. And with having a minimal amount of stuff in this family, if you don't know it, we use family minimalism sort of as a guiding principle for our household. So we really don't have very much stuff. But it's all relative. There's people who have less things than we do. But when it comes to the size of our new house, the storage that it has, the fact that there's a 1,200 square foot shop garage, which is literally bigger than our previous home altogether, and we have like a pump house storage shed, another 10 by 16 shed. It did not make sense for our future plans to keep that shed here on the property, especially since we weren't ready right now as winter is approaching to start our journey with having chickens. I really want to set myself up for success. I don't personally have, and Weston doesn't personally have experience with chickens, and everyone says, oh, they're so easy. It's such a great backyard thing to do for homesteading, and we are so excited to do it someday soon. Hopefully this spring, that's the plan. We would have a smaller number of chickens than what a 10 by 16 shed would warrant to start out, and we would definitely not want our chickens in that spot right next to the house. We have 5 acres, so we're going to try to take advantage of having that space and having the chickens a little bit farther away from the house and the windows and our living space. Another question said, will we see a garden space like your mom's? Can't wait to see how you place all your stuff in the new spaces, but most excited about your porch. The holiday themes will be stunning there. That's so sweet. Yes, a garden, a big, beautiful garden is in the future, but my mom didn't have a big, beautiful garden like that when I was a little kid. It took time and resources and money and energy and trial and error to get to that point. And I'm not going to put the expectation on myself or Weston or our family as a whole to be somehow like totally established like right off the bat. There are definitely more pressing issues here that we need to address, specifically on the interior of the house, before we can do a lot of that homesteading stuff that would be an obvious change here for you guys to see in a video. If there's anything Weston and I have learned as we've gotten older, it's that patience is definitely a virtue, and you can be working toward something and making steps and plans and research without actually having physical evidence and like the fruits of your labors to show for it right away. So I've gotten a lot of questions about the whole homesteading thing from you guys, a little bit of criticism that we're not showing more homesteading, but it's not the time of the year to really do much, especially when there's stuff like buying a tractor that we have to save up for and huge amounts of blackberries and brambles that we need to clear out. We're certainly not ready to get a bunch of little chicks at the wrong time of the year. We couldn't even get chicks to have chickens right now. And having that shed here just wasn't a good fit for us, so we were able to gift it to my mom and dad. We've gotten some really good advice from other homesteading families that we're close to who've been doing it for a long time, and they have told us you don't have to do everything all at once. Baby steps along the way. It's still progress toward our goal, and I'm really excited to be able to share with you more like outdoorsy homesteading stuff when the time is right and when it's appropriate to do so. We're taking steps now as far as like chalking away some money to buy tractors and implements so that we can really do it right, and doing simple stuff like changing some of the landscaping around the house to make it more conducive for putting a garden eventually there, or getting gravel delivered so that we can actually drive tractors and implements and stuff here to make those dreams eventually come true. So not everything at once, and it's really not all or nothing. We can do little things at a time and still enjoy the benefits of having a homestead sort of mindset and really learning to work the land and learning more about things that we at this point have no clue about, like chickens and like a big garden. Lauren Plumperrin said, do you live closer to your parents now, or is the new house farther from them? So as the crow flies, it's much closer. And when you drive there, it's, I would say, like 2 or 3 minutes closer than our old house. We didn't move very far away. I've seen a lot of questions about this. Like, did you move really far away? Are you still close to family? Because you guys know that in the past I've shared how wonderful it is to be so close to family. And we're still close. We didn't move very far from our old house. And that was one of the things like at the top of our needs list when it came to moving into a place where we would put down roots and pretty much spend the rest of our lives. Like, that's the plan that we have so far. Of course, things can change, but being close to my family as well as Weston's family was always really important to us. And I'm just so grateful that this is where we ended up. Of course, we were open to God leading us somewhere else, but God gives us the desires of our hearts. And sometimes that verse is a little misinterpreted, that he like gives us the desires that we ask him for. But my dad, when I was a kid, he would always say, no, God gives you those desires. Like, God placed it on your heart to have the desire for XYZ. And for us, it was to be close to family, among other things that God has totally just graciously granted to us. And we're just so grateful. I've gotten this question a lot. I'm going to take it from Me Brands here on my Instagram question box. Are you close to grocery store and things? Seems in the middle of nowhere. Someone else said, how far from civilization are you? I've got a lot of questions like that. So we are about 20 minutes away from the nearest real town. We don't share our exact location. We keep all of that really private. We do live in like the North Seattle area, and we, to pop down, we have like a little corner gas station grocery store that we can get some stuff from really quickly. So we're not like way far out in the boonies, but that was, like I was saying, when we were thinking about the exact location that we wanted to be, that was part of the consideration, is like, how quickly can we go, fill up our gas tank or grab a snack or, some essentials that we need. And it's honestly not too far away. We're about 45 minutes away from the nearest Target. Is that how people measure how far out in the country you are? So, where we live is kind of a mix of country and rural, like not really suburbs. It's kind of hard to explain because we kind of live in a unique place. But there's a lot of places like that in little pockets here along the I-5 corridor in Western Washington. Another question that I saw, and I'll have to find it if I can to put it here on the screen. I do try to put your guys' questions here, but sometimes with thousands of questions that come in, I can't find it. But I do remember seeing a question saying, how close is your nearest neighbor? So we live on a private road that has several 5-acre parcels. We're one of them. I think there's like 5-acre parcels on this road. And so our next nearest neighbor is on the next 5-acre parcel to this side of us. But on this side of us, we actually have a 5-acre parcel that separates us from the next 5-acre parcel, if that makes sense. So it's like a vacant raw land next to us, which further separates us from people, which is great. We just love the privacy and how quiet it is. It's just amazing. And someday, one of the big goals eventually is to be able to get in contact with the people who own the 5 acres next door and buy it from them. Which is your favorite place in your new house? This is a great question. So it kind of changes as we've been like doing renovations and developing. My favorite place when we first moved in was my office. It has just been amazing to be able to sit in there and work and be a little bit more separated, to compartmentalize my work time from my family time. It's just done wonders for my creativity and my workflow. It's been amazing. But now that we've gotten new floors in our house, got the nice fresh paint on the walls, the space has just kind of evolved in my heart and in my daily life. And I'm really just soaking in and loving this room, our living room right now. We've got the wood stove that's just so stinking cozy. But I will say, my most favorite, like the thing that gets the first place prize right now in this moment is my laundry room pantry, which may sound funny and it's nothing pretty to look at, but I recently filmed a messy to minimal video in there where I unpacked, decluttered, and reorganized that whole space, and it is just blessing my socks off to have that room in order. It has helped so much with my workflow, with doing the daily laundry for the family, with making meals because I can just access my food that's stored in that pantry. We have our tools and cleaning supplies all in one spot. It's just the best room for me right now because it's functioning so well. Any plans to add a bedroom? Will we get to see the other buildings on your property? This is a few questions and I have a few answers here. And I've had these questions come in a lot. We don't have any plans to add an extra bedroom. I've also gotten some questions saying, well, when the boys get older and they want separate bedrooms, what are you gonna do? Because my twin boys, they're 7 years old right now, they share a bedroom. They've shared a bedroom their whole life. And when they get older and want their own bedroom, we're just gonna have to go like that to them because honestly, siblings having their own separate bedroom is such a luxury, and people sometimes act like it's a necessity, but my sister and I shared a bedroom until the day I got married and moved out, and it was not a big deal. And our kids growing up, I mean, my boys shared a womb. They've been together with everything. They are really good at just like sharing their personal space. And if that becomes a problem in the future, we will cross that bridge when we get there. But it's definitely not something that we took into consideration when we were looking for houses. This is a 3-bedroom house, and it's rare to find a 4-bedroom house on acreage in this specific pinpoint area where we live, unless you're literally willing to pay over $2 million. I'm not even kidding. It's crazy. People in our area, in our part of the world, and in our community, kids share bedrooms. It's just what they do. My parents had a 4-bedroom house when I was growing up, and there were 5 kids. And so my brother, since he was the only boy, he got his own bedroom. 2 sisters shared one room, 2 sisters shared another room. Haley's the only girl, so she gets her own room. It just makes sense. And that's what we plan to do here on out. And at some point, one or all of our kids is going to move out, and so we'll shift people around, kind of like my parents have done. But it's really not a big deal to us, and if our teenage boys make a big deal about it, then it's just one of those things in life that they'll have to get over. I think the benefits of having this much land and the experience of having acreage and a garden someday and all of those wonderful homesteady things that we were talking about far outweighs the temporary inconvenience of having to share a bedroom. If we were to pick, like if I was to go back as a kid and have my parents choose a huge house with lots of bedrooms so everyone had their own room versus having land to play on and ride dirt bikes on and to have adventures and to have wide open spaces to run around and have friends over to play frisbee and football and all of that, I would have picked the land hands down over a big fancy house. Okay, I picked up my vlog camera to answer the second half of this question. You asked to see the other buildings here, which we weren't able to give like a full tour in the house tour, the empty house tour video that we did. So I'm gonna take you out here. Weston is walking in a trail on the back half of our property with the kids right now. And I thought I'd pop in here really quick and just give you the tour. So this is the 1,200 square foot shop garage, and we have a little door here. Okay, it's probably not perfectly tidy, but what garage ever is. So this is the back part of the building. It's mainly a weight room. This is how Weston and I like to work out. We like to lift heavy, and we've been making a collection of like weights and plates and bars and different benches and stuff over the past decade. Our last garage, our little garage in our old house, was just packed with stuff. But in here, we can definitely spread it all out. We've bought things from Craigslist and garage sales and just made this collection over the years. So we have friends come over and work out with us a couple of days a week. We've had family members come out and use our gym, and now we're so excited to actually have like a legit gym going on here. We have a lot of racks and storage and stuff like that around here that we're just putting odds and ends. This is stuff that's going to go into our new kitchen that came out of our old kitchen, but because we're doing a big remodel in there, we don't want to have to pack all of this stuff up twice. Just odds and ends. Have some like Christmas gifts and stuff for the kids that I'm just keeping in the boxes over there while we get this room figured out. This is where our second fridge is and our chest freezer for deep freezing things. We have a little corner over here. We would like to actually make this front part like sort of a media room with a couch and a TV and maybe like an Xbox or something out here for when the kids are older and they have friends over, maybe get like a ping pong table, turn this into like a rec room in this half and then like a gym in this half. But through here we have this man door. And this brings us into like the shop part of the garage. Let me turn on the light. Ooh, it's cold out here. So we have just more racks and storage. The previous owners left several like storage racks and cabinets and stuff like that because you can always use more storage, and they were downsizing. They actually moved out of state, so they couldn't take a lot of stuff with them, and they offered to leave it for us. So we have some extra things, and then we have a big garage door that opens up. It doesn't have like a motor, like a garage door opener, so we have to push it up ourselves. No big deal. This is just kind of your boring average, you know, garage stuff. And then up this ladder, we have storage. Weston is putting like decor totes for the seasons, but he brought a lot of it down the other day because in just a couple of days from now, I'm going to be getting our Christmas tree up with the Christmas tree decorations, putting my little give thanks banner and little turkey pillow out. So he got these down for me so I can come out here and do inventory and not have to climb up the ladder. Messy right now because stuff is out of place, but if everything was in its place, it would just look so bare because we just don't have enough stuff to even fill up half of this space, which that just makes us so happy. And look at this, there is a bathroom. Previous owner was a painter, and so there's this nice utility sink. He used to wash his brushes here. He used that back half not as a gym, but as a paint studio, which is really cool. And there's even a shower in here for when the kids get super muddy. We have a friend come over to work out and they want to take a shower after their workout. That works great. Back into here, this part of the garage. That is the shop garage for you guys. As far as the other building goes, which is out here, there's really nothing much to look at in there except for rakes and shovels. We're on a private well here in this property. So the well pump and like the electrical and stuff for that, along with our yard like lawnmower and different stuff like that, is in that little building over there. But those are the two buildings that we have here separate from the house on the property. And as you can see, there's way more storage than we could ever fill up in these buildings. So that extra 10 by 16 chicken coop shed just wouldn't have been of use to us. Floor update. Are you keeping the carpet in the new dining room? No. The answer to that is an emphatic no. So we did, in a recent vlog, I shared this with you guys, we did flooring 1.0 where we put new LVP, it's Pergo flooring in their Defense Plus line, which is 100% waterproof. That was really important to us with 3 kids and living in the very rainy Pacific Northwest. We started in the hall and went out and stopped at the line of the kitchen because there is a kitchen renovation that is going to be happening that kind of needs to happen before we put the flooring down. We went back and forth. We got several contractors' opinions because we're working with several different people to make this all come together. And the consensus was that doing like a flooring 1.2 or 2.0, however that works, when we get the new footprint for the new kitchen established, then we'll be able to continue that LVP flooring throughout the kitchen, dining room, breakfast nook, like homeschool area to complete this side of the house. We're gonna get there eventually. We're not in too much of a hurry for ourselves, like how we feel we can live like this. We've done renovations before, but our timeline has been moved up for a reason that was totally out of our control. Something very unexpected happened, and I'm gonna actually be talking about that in part 2 of this video when it goes out. I think it's going out the day after this video goes up, so stay tuned for that. Will we be getting more home updates and maybe a tour of the decor so far? Oh yeah, absolutely. If you guys have missed it, if you're one of those people who only really watches like my messy to minimal videos, you may not have seen the other like day in the life or get it all done with me videos that I've done where I've shown the renovations and the improvements and the stuff that we've done so far. And each time I do one of the videos, I give a little tour of kind of the before and after and what the space is looking like so far. We expect that doing renovations in this new house is going to be a step-by-step process, kind of like that whole homesteading question. It's not all or nothing. It's not everything at once. We're trying to be really patient because we want to be smart and we don't want to just rush to make decisions that are more of a permanent situation in the house if this is the place that we're going to live for the rest of our lives. So yes, little tours along the way absolutely happen. And if you guys want to see it, let me know. Would you like to see like design inspiration videos where I sit down and show you some like mood boards for the different rooms in the house? I know that's pretty outside of my typical content, but as I've been sharing like home decor, home design, renovation videos, I've gotten more requests for that sort of thing. So I'm wondering if it's something you guys would like to see. Let me know in the comments. Just curious why someone would build a house without a coat closet. I'm sure you have no answer. I don't know. There's several quirky things about this house that we go, why did the designer do that? Like, there is definitely a lack of closet space in the rest of the house, except for the fact that we have a big walk-in closet in our master bedroom. If I could sacrifice some of that closet space to put somewhere else in this house, I totally would. There's some just little quirky angles and stuff in here that is kind of like, huh. It was built in 2004. Maybe 2006. I also got that question, what year was it built? So, I mean, it's a relatively new house as far as houses go, but it was definitely built in an era where quirky little things like the rounded corners and certain little aspects of like the angles and stuff were like really in style back then. And we're not necessarily interested in straightening that stuff out. We're kind of going with the flow as far as the layout of this house goes, because I mean, it is so beyond what we were dreaming about. It has every little detail that we had on our like wants and needs list that we're kind of settling into the space and letting it tell us what to do. That sounds super woo-woo. I don't really mean it like that, but we're just kind of trying to go with what's here rather than doing a huge alteration of the space, except for that pantry butler pass-through area, because that just didn't make sense. But as I'm scrolling here, I'm definitely seeing more questions as far as the whole kitchen situation goes. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you to everyone who sent questions in, and definitely stay tuned for the next video. If you're watching this in the future, then that video is already up on the channel, so I'd love it so much if you'd click over to the next one, where I'm gonna pick it up, tell you about our unexpected kitchen remodel situation, the design ideas that I have for that, the stuff that we've kind of picked out for there, and also some other questions that you guys have been asking. So I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you later.